This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Hello viewers, I'm Buzayo Bogal with Pulse of Africa News. Today's top stories. Ethiopia reaffirms its unwavering solidarity with Sudan at high-level humanitarian conference. African leaders converge in Addis Ababa for the 38th AU Summit. Scholars demand repatriation of African artifacts, a call for justice and cultural restoration. Mysterious disease claims over 50 lives in Democratic Republic of Congo's Equator province. First, the summary news. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has reaffirmed Ethiopia's unwavering support for Sudan as his country co-hosted the high-level humanitarian conference for the people of Sudan alongside the United Arab Emirates, the African Union, and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, in Addis Ababa this morning. Speaking at the event, Prime Minister Abiy emphasized Ethiopia's deep-rooted ties with Sudan, highlighting their historical and cultural interdependence. As a close neighbor and sister nation, Ethiopia stands in solidarity with the people of Sudan during these challenging times. Our two countries are deeply interdependent, bound by generations of shared struggles, aspirations, and cultural ties, he stated. The conference aims to mobilize international support and humanitarian assistance for Sudan as it faces ongoing crisis. Prime Minister Abiy also announced that Ethiopia will provide $50 million in support to respond to the humanitarian crisis in Sudan. Held at the recently renovated Africa Hall in the Ethiopian capital, the event was attended by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, ongoing AU Commission Chairperson Musa Faki Mohammed, Kenyan President William Ruto, IGAD Executive Secretary Workineh Gebeyo, as well as high-level delegation from United Arab Emirates, Sudan, and other countries and multilateral organizations. Turning now to governance and continental progress. The African Peer Review Mechanism held its first extraordinary session of the Focal Point Steering Committee this Thursday in Addis Ababa, a critical prelude to the 38th African Union Summit. Chaired by Marie-Antoinette Rose-Qatar, Chief Executive of the African Peer Review Mechanism Continental Secretariat and hosted by Ethiopia's Minister of Planning and Development, Fizum Assafa, this high-level gathering focused on tackling pressing challenges and reaffirming the unwavering commitment of African Peer Review Mechanism panel members and eminent persons to drive transformative governance across Africa. A pivotal moment as the continent gears up for decisive action at the upcoming AU Summit. A deadly and ununified illness has struck the heart of the Democratic Republic of Congo, leaving over 50 dead and health officials scrambling to contain the outbreak and uncover its origins. A health crisis unfolding in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the mysterious and deadly disease has already claimed more than 50 lives in the Bazankuzu territory of Western Equator province. The outbreak centered in Basankuzu has forced nearby 2,000 residents to flee the nearby village of Bomate. This developing story underscores the urgent need for medical intervention and international support. France and Senegal have announced the establishment of a joint commission to oversee the withdrawal of French troops from Senegal by the end of 2025. This move marks a new chapter in their relationship as both nations aim to forge a modernized defense and security partnership that aligns with Senegal's strategic priorities. The decision comes after Senegal's push to end the decades-long presence of French military forces, which have been stationed in the country since its independence in 1960. A historical step as Senegal redefines its sovereignty and international alliance. An Air Force plane carrying Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Senate Foreign Relations Committee Senator Jim Risch to Germany for the Munich Secretary Conference was forced to make an unexpected return to Washington late Thursday. The aircraft developed a mechanical issue mid-flight, promoting an immediate turnaround. State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce confirmed the incident, stating this evening en route from Washington to Munich, the plane experienced a mechanical issue and it's now returning to Joint Base Andrews. Despite the setback, Secretary Rubio remains determined to fulfill his diplomatic mission, with plans to continue his travel to Germany and the Middle East on the separate aircraft. A reminder that even in diplomacy, the unexpected can take flight. Now let's take a closer look at today's top stories, unpacking the details behind the headlines that matter most. Head of state and dignitaries from across the continent are gathered in Ethiopia's capital for the 38th Africa Union Summit, poised to address pressing continental challenges and chart a path toward unity and progress. Addis Ababa is buzzing with activity as several African leaders have begun arriving for the 38th Africa Union Summit, a pivotal gathering set to address one of the most pressing issues of our time. Under the theme Justice for Africans and People of African Descent Through Reparations, this summit promises to be a landmark event in the fight for racial healing and accountability. Among the distinguished leaders in attendance are Angolan President João Lourenço, Kenyan President William Ruto, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema, and Algerian President Abdulmajid Tebboune. They are joined by Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, Zambia's Emerson Mnangagwa, and Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, among others. Adding to the international significance, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, and China's Minister of Justice, He Ruan, are also in Addis Ababa, underscoring the global resonance of this critical dialogue. The summit, running from February 15 to 16, will not only focus on reparatory justice, but will also feature high-stakes senior leadership elections. With momentum building worldwide for reparations, the 38th AU Summit is poised to deliver bold decisions aimed at advancing justice, addressing past wrongs, and fostering a future of unity and healing across the continent and beyond. Academics and activities are amplifying their voice, urging the return of Africa's stolen heritage to its rightful owners, reigniting the global debate on cultural tuition and historical accountability. Academics and activities are amplifying their voice, urging the return of Africa's stolen heritage to its rightful owners, reigniting the global debate on cultural restitution and historical accountability. The call for justice grows louder as Robin Walker, Vice President of the Global Black Center and renewed historian, demands the return of centuries-old African artifacts currently held in European institutions. These priceless treasures, many looted during colonial times, are not only immense cultural significance but also hold outstanding financial value, now worth billions of dollars. Walker highlights how European institutions have amassed substantial wealth by holding on Africa's heritage, underscoring their vested interest in retaining these stolen artifacts. Adding his voice to the cause, Leonard Philip, an international financial crime complaints consultant and African studies scholar, emphasizes the urgent need for a unified front. He urges African leaders to stand together in the fight to reclaim these cultural treasures.
The face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa. This is Pulse of Africa. Shifting our focus to the dynamic world business stories.
Ethiopia's Airlines, Africa's largest and one of the world's fastest growing airline brands, is soaring to the new heights with a launch of thrice weekly passenger service to Hyderabad, India, starting June 16, 2025. This exciting new route underscores the airline's unwavering commitment to expanding its global footprint and bridging continents, offering passengers seamless travel options between Africa and Asia. The latest expansion solidifies its position as a global aviation leader, connecting people, economies, and opportunities across the globe. In a dramatic twist, TikTok is back on US app stores for now. After facing a potential ban, the Chinese-owned social media giant has been granted lifeline. President Donald Trump postponed the enforcement of the ban until April 5, allowing the platform to remain accessible to its more than 170 million American users. Last month, the app briefly went dark as the ban deadline loomed, sparking widespread concern. But in the last-minute move, President Trump signed an executive order giving TikTok a 75-day extension to comply with U.S. regulations or face a forced sale. That's all the business news for today, and thank you for joining Pulse of Africa.
This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.